Good afternoon, folks. Senior day here for the women's team. That's the ceremony going on right now. I'll turn up my mic. I think Mike West will do some announcements. And for the four seniors, Vicky Tamaz, Ayanna Holloway, Tamaya Graham, and who am I missing in there? And Caroline Gehring, too, one of the captains. We'll do a little award ceremony for each of them, so I'll turn up my mic so we can hear what Coach West is saying about each of these girls.
Chestnut Hill College Women, and before we begin today's first game, we want to honor our four seniors on the team. This time we invite family members to join Director of Athletics and Recreation Lynn Tuppen and Head Coach Mike West at center court. Our first senior today is Caroline Gehring. Gehring took on captain duties in her senior season, has appeared in 18 contests so far, averaging 2.2 points per game and 1.8 rebounds per game. She also has played a lead role in organizing last year's Military Appreciation Day, an event that earned the college its third CACC Community Engagement Award in 4 years. Number 1, Caroline Gehring. Our next senior is Ayanna Holloway. Ayanna Holloway has provided Britons with depth at the guard position, a strong defender, and a confident teammate. Her value to the Scarlet and Gold extends way beyond her statistical contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, number 11, Ayanna Holloway. Our next senior is number 22, Vicky Tamaz. Vicky leads the day today just 5 points shy of 1,000 for her collegiate career. And she ranks third in the nation for three-pointers made with 79. Tamaz's senior season has been truly sensational. She currently leads the Griffins and the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference in scoring, threes made, threes attempted, and three-point percentage. She ranks first all time at Chestnut Hill for scoring and three-point percentage. Number 22, Vicky Tamaz. Our final senior this afternoon, number 33, Tamaya Graham. Tamaya Graham has been a regular reserve for Coach West, appearing in 48 games over the last 2 seasons. In these contests, she has averaged 2 points per game and 2 rebounds per game, while totaling 23 assists, 4 blocks, and 25 steals. Number 33, Tamaya Graham. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our Chestnut Hill College Women's Basketball Seniors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineups for the first game of today's doubleheader. First, for Caldwell University. The senior from Worcester, Massachusetts, number 4, Philip Sanders. A 5'10" senior from Middle Village, New York, number 15, Kristen Rossler. A 5'6" junior from Secaucus, New Jersey, number 10, Andy Lennon. A 6'1" junior from Winthrop, Massachusetts, number 15.
So with the ceremony now over, we'll take a look at the matchup on the court here today between Chestnut Hill and Caldwell. The Griffins coming in at 15-8, 11-3, in the CACC South, and they've now officially clinched a spot in the playoffs. It's just a matter of whether they will be second, third, or even fourth if they go on a bit of a losing streak, although they have a pretty nice cushion between 3 and 4 right now anyway. But really what's on the line is a chance to potentially catch Jefferson at number 2 and get a home playoff game. Jefferson 13-2, so a game in hand. Chestnut Hill a game and a half back, but the next 2 games for Jefferson, that's against Bloomfield, first place in the North, and then Caldwell, second place in the North. So those are 2 potentially losable games for Jefferson. So if the Griffins win out, who knows, a home playoff game is possible. But Caldwell, as I alluded to, very good team, 19-4 overall, 12-2 in the CACC North, sitting in second in the CACC North, a half game back of Bloomfield with a game in hand. A very senior-laden team of the defending CACC champs. And now we're getting set for the national anthem, so I'll pause and ask you to stay with us through that. So let's take a look at the starters for both teams, starting with visiting Caldwell. Start in the backcourt with Sherelle Sanders, 5'5" senior guard out of Dorchester, Massachusetts, second in the conference in assists per game at 5.2. She's joined by Andy Lennon, 5'6" junior guard out of Secaucus, New Jersey, three-point sniper, nearly 38%. The third guard in that look, Kristen Drogsor, one of the best players in the conference, 5'10" senior guard out of Middle Village, New York, averaging just over 15 per game to lead the team. In the front court, it's Maura Kelty, 6' senior forward out of Barrington, Rhode Island, the leading rebounder on the team at over 6 per game. And Kristen Siskamanis, 6'1" junior, actually listed as a swingman, a guard/forward, but with that size, obviously more of a front court player, averaging just under 8 per game. The Griffins, but Caroline Gehring in the starting lineup today, and Tamaya Graham, who's out there for the tip right now. So 2 of those seniors, Vicky Tamaz, the third in there. Ayanna Holloway is on the bench, the 4th senior. Shannon Glenn and Mary Trossi, the other 2 for the Griffins. So Siskamanis wins the tip back, but Glennon steals it away, knocked out of bounds, and it will go to the Griffins as Lennon got back on D to take away the easy layup for Glenn. The Griffins in the gold unis with red numbers, white trim. Chestnut Hill in white with red trim on the front breast. Caldwell in all red with white trim. 3 in the corner. Tamaz, too strong. Loose in the lane. Gehring comes away with it. Fresh 30. Nice hustle by the senior Gehring, who lines up a 3 in and out. Lennon the board for Caldwell. Caldwell, the red unis, white numbers, no trim on the numbers. Caldwell in white on the front. Very basic, simple look for Caldwell. Inside, and that's a travel. Basket waved off. Sherelle Sanders took too many steps. So one more home game left after this, but the Griffin women electing to choose this for their senior day. Usually senior night, but today it's senior afternoon. Here's Gehring in the corner to Maz. Back out Gehring. They'll post up Graham into the corner. Glenn, shot fake. That pass tipped. Loose in the air. Siskamanis comes away with it. So we'll see how long Mike West sticks with this lineup for. Here's Droxler, doesn't get the roll, but she's going to the line 4-2. So normally we'd see Jada Wildgoose in the starting lineup and Kaylee Gibson as well. But Mike West letting his seniors start, which is always a nice thing to do. Droxler hits the first. Caldwell, a very good team, as I mentioned. Should be a tough test for the Griffins. They are third in the conference in points per game at 70.8. As Droxler hits both, 2-0 early on. And have the second best D at 58.4 points per game. So they are suffocating defensively. Best three-point defensive percentage in the league as well, 26.2%. That's what they allow opponents to shoot. Not a very deep team either. They really only play on a given day, really 7 players that significant run, but we might see an 8th or 9th, so well-conditioned too. Tamaz, a 3, got it. Vicky Tamaz, it's her first attempt. She is now 2 away from 1,000 in her career. That's combined between Chestnut Hill and Shippensburg, remember, but still a nice accomplishment. Backdoor cut, Droxler, she was fouled. That was Lennon leading Droxler inside, and Droxler back to the line. Kristen Droxler, the reigning CACC Player of the Year. This team made the NCAA tournament last year. Droxler hits the first. They return most of their key players. Did graduate one starter, but they lost their coach. Christina Danella moved over to San Francisco State after 3 years, and they've actually struggled a bit this year. A little bit interesting that she jumped to a Division II school, not a Division I school, as that pass off of Garing's hands. And it goes to Caldwell. Now here comes Kaylee Gibson and Jada Wildgoose, so the Griffins get their normal starting 5 in the game now. Minute 40 in. 4-3. Caldwell on top early. Here's Siskamanis with Wildgoose on her. Sanders on the wing holds. Siskamanis calling for it down low. Now she gets it, working on Wildgoose. Spins baseline, hangs, too strong, air ball. Rebound Trossi, and she's looking to push. Here's Tamaz, a chance at 1,000 to the hoop. Out of bounds, and it will stay with the Griffins. Vicky Tamaz looking for the foul call there, doesn't get it. But it stays with the Griffins. Gibson inbound. Left of the hoop, Trossi wide open. Got it. Step in front of the three-point line in the corner. And Mary Trossi puts the Griffins back on top. It's Lennon walking it up. Griffins with the early lead here. In a tough interconference matchup, Siskamanis lays that home right of the hoop. Set up by Lennon. Siskamanis very, very efficient, 56% from the field. Doesn't shoot a lot, but when she does, she is accurate. Wildgoose underneath the bucket, and she was fouled, going to the line for 2. First on Siskamanis. Jada Wildgoose to the line. Wildgoose, second on the team in scoring. Leads them in rebounds at just under 9 per game. Ties the game up at 6. On the sideline in the front court, it's Kaylee Gibson getting a talking to from Mike West right now, who's coaching up his player. Second good as well from Wildgoose. Griffins on top. Not quite 3 minutes in. Lennon doing a lot of the ball handling early on, which is a little bit of a surprise because Sanders is one of the best ball handlers in the conference. Droxler into the lane, a runner, and she was fouled. Going to the line again. Kristen Droxler already her 3rd trip to the line, and she's 4 for 4 early on. 3rd on the Griffins. A lot of fouls early in this game. Looks like very shortly both teams could be in the bonus. Now we'll see Carly O'Driscoll, 33 in red, 6'1" senior out of Sharon, Massachusetts. averaging 11 and 5 on the season, the sixth man on this team. Draxler again hits both, and here comes Trossi working on Lennon, crossing over midcourt, and now finds Gibson in the front court, underneath Wild Goose, and she lays it home on the feed from Trossi. So the teams trading points early on. Griffins back on top by 1, just over 3 minutes in. Tamaz watching Lennon closely. She brings it up court, backdoor cut. Draxler pass a little too strong for her, and it goes to the Griffins. This Caldwell team does an excellent job taking care of the ball. They lead the CACC in assists at just over 17 per game, and they turn it over under 15 times per game. So it's one of the few teams that has a true positive assist-to-turnover ratio. Caldwell in a zone here. Glennon up top. Scoop shot, no good, too strong. Tipped underneath, and a foul on the floor. Foul's on O'Driscoll. Not a shooting foul. Foul was on the rebound, so the Griffins have a fresh 30. Trossi down the left of the lane, too strong with the right hand. And O'Driscoll the board. Lob up ahead for Lennon. She tracks it down near corner. As the pass from Sanders a little bit too strong, and now Lennon will walk it back out to midcourt and reset with 18 to shoot. Glenn on her. That's a pretty significant size mismatch. Lennon only 5'6". Crosses over up top. Inside O'Driscoll, tracks it down in the corner, 6 to shoot, back for Lennon to 3. Got it. Andy Lennon, nearly 38% from deep this year, and she hits her first attempt from deep today. As that pass stolen away by Sanders, who has very quick hands. Sanders lobs it up ahead, Kelty to the hoop and lays it home. On the pass from Sanders. 4-point game, Caldwell on top. Showing a loose press here is Caldwell. They'll look to trap midcourt, but Trossi breaks it. Gibson a 3. Air ball too strong, and the ball caroms out of bounds near side. Caldwell will take over as both teams go to the bench. Mary Trossi sits. Cassie Seabold in, and Tamaya Graham in as well. Siskamanis checks back in after a brief rest. And Tina LeBron, sophomore guard, another three-point shooter. 3 in red, in as well for the first time today. LeBron has it, now Siskamanis, 15 to shoot. LeBron around the screen, but Tamaz stayed with her, now she has it. Up top, Draxler, a 3, got it. Kristen Draxler, 32% from deep this year. Now a 7-point game, largest lead of the game for Caldwell. Gibson attacking high off glass, gets it to go on the feed from Tamaz. First bucket of the game for Kaylee Gibson, and somebody lost their headband. That's Kaylee Gibson. So the officials blow the whistle for a moment. They'll let her put that back on, and you can't really have that sitting in the middle of the floor. Somebody might slip on it. O'Driscoll sits for Caldwell. As they go with Kelty and Siskamanis in the front court. Behind the back dribble, it's Lennon with Seabold, the freshman, on her. Looks like Rachel Milan will check in at the next whistle. Draxler got it to go. 18 feet away on the baseline. Draxler on fire early on. She now has 11. Gibson hits a cutting Graham at the free throw line, picks it up. Gibson deep 2. Air ball off right. And a foul on the end line underneath. That'll be on Graham. 4th on the Griffins. 1 more and Caldwell will be shooting. 7-point game. Griffins trail. 4:10 to play in the opening half. Tamaz sits. She's 2 away from 1,000. Wild Goose sits as well. Rachel Milan in. Mary Trossi back in as well. The Griffins will press here. Draxler 11 points right now to lead all scorers. Jada Wild Goose, the only player with more than a basket other than Draxler. Draxler, her numbers are actually down this year, which is the amazing part. Averaged nearly 20 points per game last year. Tries again and got it again. 14 for Draxler. Doing it by herself right now. She's outscored the Griffins by herself. 10-point game. Caldwell staying in his zone. Hand off Glenn. Now Gibson, they swing it around the perimeter. Seabold, skip pass in the corner. Milan shot fake on the run. Back for Gibson. 10 to shoot, it's Glenn. And a travel. Not much penetration that possession for the Griffins, and Vicky Tamaz back in. Kaylee Gibson sits. Drogs were last year. 19.8 points per game, school record 83 threes, and 45% from the field, 43% from deep. 15.4 this year, and 37 and 32 from the field. So the percentages and the numbers down. Siskamana steps into a 3, too short, but Kelty comes away with the offensive board. Lennon will reset at the logo as we come up on 3 to play. In the opening half, LeBron around the screen, picks up her dribble, looking for help. Has it in the form of Siskamana, now Lennon. 14 to shoot, step back a 3. Off right, rebound Glenn. And she'll bring it up court herself. Trossi crosses over, back for Glenn a 3. Off left, tipped underneath, and Seabold comes away with it. Tamaz a 3. Got it! And that's number 1,000 for Vicky Tamaz. Second chance point set up by Cassie Seabold. So congratulations to Vicky Tamaz. That's over 1,000 career points for her combined between Shippensburg and now Chestnut Hill, the leading scorer in the conference. And she gets a nice hand from the Scarlet and Gold faithful. That makes it a 7-point game. Griffins trail to 35 to go in the opening quarter. Here's Lennon. Walking the ball up court with Tamaz on her. Siskamana in the lane. Pull-up jumper too strong. Well defended by Glenn. Long rebound. Seabold tracks it down and then was knocked down in the corner. That will be a foul on Draxler. Third foul on Caldwell. Glenn to inbound and gets it right back from Mary Trossi. Seabold will take her time, walking it up the court. Mike West not happy that his team looking a little bit deliberate right now. The Griffins will have to play with pace. And Sanders takes it away from the freshman Seabold. Sanders all the way, no good, but the follow put back up and in by Lennon as Caldwell had 3 players back to the Griffins 1. Nice job by Seabold to force the initial miss, but nobody else got back. 9-point game, under 2 to play in the opening half. It's Tamaz with a head of steam, crosses over up top. Trossi dives baseline, and she was bumped. It's on Kelty. Her second. Fourth on Caldwell. Now Kelty will have to sit because of foul trouble. Or actually, they'll take out Siskamana instead, and they'll let Kelty, the senior, stay in. Mike West not happy with how his team is attacking the zone right now. Wild Goose has it down low, working on O'Driscoll. Deep 2, in and out from Trossi in the corner. Rebound O'Driscoll. Here's Lennon looking to run. Lobs it down low, but too tall for O'Driscoll. And it goes to the Griffins. Third turnover on Caldwell to 5 for the Griffins. Here's Trossi. And off Seabold, 22 to shoot. Griffins haven't quite found the range with this zone just yet. At the free throw line, Trossi wraparound pass, and it's out of bounds. Glenn was cutting to the hoop. And Trossi threw it to where she was, not where she was going. Trossi will sit. Kaylee Gibson back in. 1:12 to go. In the opening quarter, it's Caldwell by 9 in the early going. Kristen Draxler already has 14 to lead all scorers. She's the only player in double figures. Vicky Tamaz has 6. Sanders in the lane, no good with the right hand. Good look, though, tipped out of bounds, or tipped out, rather, in a foul on Caldwell. It's on O'Driscoll, so that's number 5 on Caldwell. So that will send Jada Wildgoose to the line for 2. Griffins with 4 fouls, so 1 more, and Caldwell will be shooting as well. Looks like Siskamanis will check back in after the free throws. Wild Goose good on the first. And here comes Siskamanis for O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll 2 fouls as well. Siskamanis has 2. So that's something to watch for Caldwell because, again, they really only go about 8 deep. Here's Draxler, 7-point game. 45 on the clock in the opening quarter. Draxler over to the left wing. Siebold on her, frees herself up with a screen, and she's going back to the line. 4-2 as she hit the deck on the pull-up at the free throw line. So Draxler has made a living at the line today. Already 6 of 6, hasn't missed from anywhere. 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 downtown. So she's just about perfect today so far. And makes it 7 of 7 from the line. Draxler coming off of 22 points last game. On 8 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep. It's the second as well, so a 9-point game. About a 6.5-second difference between shot and game clock as Siebold lost it. Backdoor Sanders lost it, got it back, trapped underneath, kicks back out, tipped out of bounds near side. And it stays with Caldwell. So far, Sherelle Sanders, who is second in the conference in steals at 2.7. She is giving Cassie Siebold, the freshman, fits. Second time she took it away from Cassie in the backcourt. So Sanders will slow it down. 3.5-second difference between shot and game clock. So Caldwell will take their time. Sanders handoff right wing, 9 to shoot. Shot fake, drives left to the hoop, and gets it to go with the right hand. 7 to shoot for the Griffins. Here's Siebold crossing over, and again Sanders takes it away. Sanders, 2 to shoot, jacks it up, air ball. And that will be how the opening quarter ends. With Caldwell on top, 27-16. We'll be back with the start of the second in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, with her 3-point basket at the 2:39 mark of the first quarter, Chestnut Hill's Vicky Tomas recorded the 999th, 1,000th, and 1,001st points of her collegiate.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the game, Chestnut Hill College invites you to the official restaurant of Griffin Nation. Just take a short trip down Germantown Pike for plenty of good food, drink, and fun at Brinningham's Pub in Lafayette Hill.
Back here inside Sorgenti Arena, Ricky Sobrano here with you as we head to the second quarter. Caldwell on top of the Griffins, 27-16. And it's largely on the strength of their defense. They've turned the Griffins over 8 times. Sherelle Sanders, 4 steals already. Mary Trossi has turned it over 3 times. Cassie Siebold has as well. And that's largely because of the pressure Sanders is putting on the ball in the backcourt as twice in the last 30 seconds of play in the opening quarter, she picked the freshman Siebold's pocket. So that's something to watch going forward. Sanders, a senior, very experienced, and so far she's getting the better of the freshman Siebold, who's had an outstanding season but hasn't seen the likes of Sanders yet. Draxler, catch and shoot, puts it home. She has 19 already. Her career high is 38, so right now she's actually on pace to shatter that, but obviously a long way to go. Griffins looking to answer. They're down 14. Wild Goose from 16 in the wing gets it back to a 12-point game. Sledden bringing it up court. Caldwell led by Tori Northup Jones in her first season, taking over for Christina Danella. Another good young coach. Caldwell has done an excellent job of finding those. 2 in a row, it seems like. Offensive foul, and it's going the other way. It's on Siskamanis. An illegal screen. Siebold back in. Gibson will sit. Here's Trossi with Sanders watching her closely. Sherelle Sanders has been excellent in this game. Very, very quick is Sanders. Now she's out on Seabold. Caldwell stays in a zone defense. Seabold straight on into the corner. Glenn, 12 to shoot. A deep three, Seabold, too strong on the line drive. Rebound to Lennon, and she's looking to run 3-on-2. Lennon, middle of the floor, leads Kelty to the hoop. Blows the layup with the left hand. Seabold comes away with the board. Seabold looking to run, but Kelty gets back. Tamaz. Now top of the key, Wild Goose. Trossi, short left corner, inside Wild Goose. In traffic, muscles at home. Left of the hoop. 10-point game as Wild Goose has the first 4 of the second quarter for the Griffins. Here's Lennon trotting it up court. Tamaz on her, backdoor cut. Drogsler, nice finish. In traffic, and it was really the catch that did it. That was a high pass, and Drogsler, very good athlete, adjusted midair to snag it, and then laid it home. Glenn catch and shoot. Too strong on the rainbow, tipped by a Wild Goose, but taken down by Lennon in the lane. 12-point game, under 8 to play. In the second quarter, Griffins trail. Lennon getting the play from the sideline. Holds at the logo. Over the right wing, 12 to shoot. It's Drogsler straight on. Drives left, kicks back out. Sanders a 3. Too strong air ball. Glenn tracks down the board in the corner, throws it back to the middle. Siskamanis had it momentarily, and we'll call a jump ball as Siskamanis and Wild Goose tied up, and it goes to the Griffins on the alternating possession. Gibson back in. Glenn and Wild Goose sit. Graham in as well. Here's Trossi, far sideline. Sanders watching her closely. So Caldwell doesn't really press. They just allow Sanders, who's a senior, to play the point guard all the way up the court. And why not? It works. She's had 3 or 4 steals just like that already, just by pressuring by herself in the backcourt. Graham, short right corner, drives baseline, rejected by Siskamanis, who takes it away. Sanders the other way. Griffins get back on D. Sanders cut off, leaves for Lennon, lines it up, shot fake, drives baseline, flips it up, too strong off glass, and Graham snares the board. Trossi crosses over, left of the lane, kicks back out. Tamaz 3. Well contested, too short. Sanders closed out on her. 12-point game, 6:32 to go in the second quarter, and a timeout taken by Torrey Northup Jones with Caldwell on top of the Griffins, 32-20. Just a 30-second timeout.
30-second timeout called by Caldwell.
So the Griffins right now just 7 of 20 from the field. That's 35%. Caldwell 10 of 21. 4 of 8 from deep and 8 of 8 from the line. All of those 8 are by Kristen Drogsler, who was on the bench getting a brief rest. See if she checks in out of the timeout. She has 21, a game-high 21, and thus far she's outscored the Griffins by herself by 1. Chestnut Hill has turned it over 8 times. Caldwell only 4. Jada Wild Goose leading the way for the Griffins. She has 10. Vicky Tamaz has 6, including point number 1,000, and the only other 2 players to score are Trossi and Gibson. 10-second violation. Out of the timeout, Sanders not paying attention and didn't get the ball across the line in time. Torrey Northup Jones arguing it, but doesn't win that one. So the Griffins get a free one there. See if they can take advantage and cut it back to single digits with the 3. Here's Seabold holding. LeBron back in the game. Was out on her momentarily. Drogsler back in as well after a brief rest. Wild Goose calling for it down low. Has it and finishes in traffic off the glass. 10-point game. Wild Goose now has 12. As Drogsler flopped to the floor, trying to draw to charge. Sanders walking up court. 18 to shoot. Now LeBron holds, lobs it down low. Siskamanis in traffic. She was hit, and she'll go to the line for 2. was a dangerous pass by LeBron, but it was well placed, dropped it right in over the top. And that will send Siskamanis to the line. 85% from the line, but misses that one. Does Siskamanis, the junior, one of the more improved players in the conference, averaged 2.4 points per game last year on 35% from the field. Misses both of those free throws, though, but averaging nearly 8 per game this year on over 50% from the field. So vastly improved this year is Siskamanis. That one stolen on the perimeter by Dragsler, lobbed up ahead to her to the hoop with Tamaj trying to get back, and Dragsler lays it home on the feed from Sanders. Dragsler tipped it initially. Sanders cleaned it up and then fed her fellow senior who laid it home. Pass tipped out of bounds by Dragsler far side, and it stays with the Griffins. 12-point game, 5:24 to go. In the opening half, Cassie Seabolt sits. Glenda inbound, far corner. Strassi running the point. Caldwell again in his zone. Up top to Maz. 12 to shoot. Strassi holding. Down low, cutting to Maz. Can't finish through traffic. Wild Goose keeps it alive. Goes back up, hit the side of the backboard. Might have been partially blocked by Siskamanis. Lennon bumped by Milan from behind. And that'll be a foul. Just the second on the Griffins, though. Ball stays with Caldwell. They'll have 30 to shoot. Shot clock resets. Lennon peering at the bench at Tori Northup-Jones. For the play call, now she has it. It's Kelty with Glenn on her. 18 to shoot. Around the screen, Dragsler has it on the wing. Up top, LeBron free. Fires. Got it. Well, that was the play call. LeBron, a sniper from deep. 38% from deep, and she shoots almost exclusively from downtown. Hits her first triple, then on the other end, out of bounds, off the hands of Glenn. And it goes back to Caldwell. The Griffins will take a timeout as they see this one starting to slip away, down 15, 37 to 22. 4:38 to go in the second quarter, and Mike West wants time.
Located 20 minutes from Center City, Philadelphia, Chestnut Hill College provides a small school experience with many big opportunities. Our close-knit community empowers each student to become a leader in all aspects of campus life. Our faculty and staff help each student achieve the right balance of academics, athletics, student life, and career development. For more information on Chestnut Hill College, schedule a visit at one of our upcoming information sessions or register for our open house. Visit www.chc.edu/visit.
Caldwell ball out of the timeout. Here inside Sorgenti Arena, Griffins trail by 15, 4:28. On a running clock in the second quarter. Backdoor cut Dragsler, again a difficult pass, and she saves it. LeBron a three, got it again. Back-to-back threes from Tina LeBron. That one set up by Dragsler, who fielded a difficult pass in front of her, grabbed it with one hand, and then found LeBron in the corner. So Dragsler just outstanding on all ends of the court. And the Griffins turn it over on the other end. 18-point game. Caldwell all over the Griffins now. 4:11 to play in the opening half. Griffins have turned it over 10 times. Caldwell shooting over 50%, 6 of 10 from deep. Around the screen, Dragsler fires away off left. Well contested that time by Kaylee Gibson. Gibson has it near side, drives past Dragsler. Cut off on the perimeter, kicks out to Maz, extra look Glenn. Too short, good look though. Trossi, the offensive board, and puts it home. It was tipped by Wild Goose initially to keep it alive, 16-point game. Here's a let-in behind the back dribble as she loses Trossi at midcourt. And she'll slow it down. Dragsler open. Too short this time from the wing. Long rebound, LeBron keeps it alive. Kelty the follow, got it to go. From 8 in the left of the lane. Delay of game warning here. Siskamanis touched the ball after Kelty scored. 18-point game. Griffins trail. Cassie Seabold will check in at the next whistle. 3:15 to play in the second quarter. That pass through the hands of Gibson, and pouncing on it is Sanders. Sanders with Tamaj trailing. Too strong on the layup. Glenn tips it back out, and here comes Trossi. Sanders on her back, nearly took it away again. Sanders all over the place defensively. Trossi, back out Gibson, skip pass in the corner, Glenn. Shot fake, Tamaz lines it up. Off left, tipped underneath. Trossi comes away with it. She took it away from the 6'1" Siskamanis. Left block, Wild Goose, faces up, back out Trossi, short left corner, too strong from 18. Tamaz feeds Glenn, got it on the follow. So the Griffins 2 extra looks that time as they're crashing the boards, but still down 16. 2:38 to go, and threes not falling. Griffins just 2 of 11 from deep. Glenn sniffs out that pass. With Lennon trailing, she was fouled. Going to the line for 2 is Glenn. First on Lennon. Just the second on Caldwell. Griffins will go to the bench at the whistle. First is good from Glenn. One more to come. Here comes Siebold. And Graham, Tamaz, Wild Goose, and Gibson sit. Milan will come in too, it looks like. Tamaz looks gassed. She was just hunched over on the court before she came out. It is kind of hot in here today. It's usually pretty cool, but maybe because it's senior day and you have an elevated amount of people in the building, it's a little bit warm, so that could be tougher on the players as Glenn hits both. 14-point game. Caroline Gehring back in as well. Here's Lennon. Finds Sanders, leaves it inside Siskamanis, and she gets the roll. Right of the hoop, 6 feet away. Set up by Sanders. So we come up on 2 to play. In the opening half, 16-point game, Griffins trail. Caldwell stays in that zone D. Siebold crosses over on Sanders into the corner. Milan drives baseline, pass in traffic, tipped and stolen. Here's Drogsler the other way. 3-on-2. Drogsler coast to coast, scoop shot, no good with the right. Kelty keeps it alive, and she'll dribble back out. So Drogsler finally misses. It's only her 3rd miss. She has 23 points. Drogsler driving underneath, kicks back out, a 3. Sanders off right, long rebound. Kelty tracks it down again. Her 2nd offensive board of the possession. Mike West, arms folded right now. He is not happy with his team. Sanders on the wing, hops right. Siskamanis, bolt pass inside. Kelty drives left on Milan. She was bumped. Going to the line for 2. 1:13 to play in the opening half. 16-point game. Caldwell has led by as much as 18, and they've led by double digits for most of the game, led by 11 after the opening quarter. Kelty the lefty. Too strong with the first free throw. Here's Kalima Singletary. 6-foot freshman forward, 11 in red, out of Spring Valley, New York. Playing her 15th game this season. Doesn't see a whole lot of action typically. Only the 8th player playing or appearing in this half so far for Caldwell, a team that, again, doesn't go very, very deep. 17-point game. Now under a minute to play. In the opening half, it's Trossi. Caldwell staying in that zone defense. In the corner, Gehring drives baseline, leaves for Graham, forces it up. A little too strong from 8 feet. And here comes Sanders and Caldwell the other way. 18-second difference, actually more like 20-second difference between shot and game clock with Caldwell in no rush in either event. Handoff Lennon. 14 to shoot. Kelty shot fake with Graham on her. Lennon has it back on the wing. Siebold on her. Around the screen, LeBron fires away. Too strong from straight on. Ball's out of bounds on the end line. And a foul called as well. Will be on Siebold, it appears. Believe the official held out a 4. Neither event. Shot clock now turned off. So now Sanders will take her time. 16 on the game clock. She'll get moving probably at about 7 seconds. Trossi giving her plenty of cushion. Sanders at the logo, now with 8. She'll get moving. Crosses over, kicks back out. LeBron an open look. Got it. From the corner, LeBron set up by Sanders. Trossi with a second to play. Didn't get up in time anyway. And that is how the opening half will end, with the Griffins down by 20 to the defending CACC champs. This senior-laden Caldwell team flexing their muscles so far. Griffins down big. We'll take a break and be back with the start of the third in about 15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the first half statistics for the first game of the day. So we'll have the first for Caldwell. Leading all scorers with 23 points is number 5, Kristen Drugs. Number 4, Cheryl Sanders has 2. Number 10, Andy Lennon has 5 points and 5 rebounds. Number 15, Christian Siskimetis has 4 points. Number 25, Mara Kelty has 5. Number 3, Team LeBron has 9. In the half, Caldwell shot 48.5% from the field. 7 of 15 from three-point distance, and 9 of 12 from the free throw line. Leading scorer for Chestnut Hill with 12 points is number 32, Jacob Williams. Number 2, Mary Trossi has 4 points. Number 22, Vicky Tomas has 6. Number 42, Shannon Glenn has 4 points. Number 20, Kaylee Gibson has 2. In the half, the Griffins shot 33.3% from the field. They were 2 of 12 from three-point distance, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chestnut Hill College Griffins will be closing out their season with 3 home games, followed by their 3 road games, followed by their final home game of the season on Saturday, February 24th, when the Griffins will host University of Sciences. That's the next
Back here inside Sorgenti Arena, Ricky Sobrano here with you for start of the third quarter between Chestnut Hill and Caldwell. Griffins down big, 48-28 at the break. Caldwell 16 of 33 in the opening half, just under 50%, 7 of 15 from downtown, 9 of 12 from the line. Griffins 10 of 30, 2 of 12 from deep, a perfect 6 of 6 from the line, but that hasn't been enough to keep them in it just yet. They've also turned it over 13 times to just 6 for Caldwell. Both teams just one player in double figures. Wild Goose with 12 to lead the way for the Griffins, then followed by Vicky Tamaz with 6. That includes her 1,000th career points. Caldwell, only Drogsor in double figures, but she has 23. So that's why they haven't really needed that much depth scoring, because Drogsor has had a tremendous half so far. Caldwell ball to begin the third quarter. Caldwell in red, Griffins in gold in the corner of 3. Drogsor again, 26 and counting for Kristen Drogsor. Career high is 38. That seems very attainable right now. Glenna 3, too strong. High rebound tipped out of bounds, and it stays with the Griffins off of Sanders' last nice hustle by Mary Trossi to get the extra possession for the Griffins, who are out there with Glenn, Gibson, Wild Goose, Trossi, and Tamaz. Caldwell, same 5. Gibson lines one up. Off right. Sanders comes away with the board. She's out there with Kelty, Siskamanis, Drogsor, and Lennon. Sanders coast to coast. No good off right. Tipped underneath. Kelty comes away with it. Sanders was open in the corner momentarily, but she'll walk it back out. Sanders only 2 points now, 1 of 9 from the field, but she has 5 assists and 5 steals. So her shot's been off, but she's done everything else right. Down low, it's Siskamanis working on Wild Goose. Came up short, well defended by Jada. Here's Tamaz the other way. Tamaz looking to push. Handoff Gibson, the trailer Wild Goose, top of the key. Down the lane, kicks back out. 20 to shoot, it's Gibson. Back in Wild Goose, goes with the left and finishes through Siskamanis. So Wild Goose continues her hot shooting, but she needs some help. Griffins down 21. Lennon trotting it up court. Drogsor around the screen, works left, steps back, off right. That was a deep 2. Rebound Griffins. Here's Glenn the other way. Glenn's been off so far today from deep. Wild Goose, but so has most of the team, to be fair, as the zone defense from Caldwell has affected Chestnut Hill. Here's Glenn driving inside, and she was fouled on her way to the hoop. Not a shooting foul. It's on Kelty, her second. So Drogsor right now, she's already at her season high, which is 26. That was against Georgian Court. The career high is 38. That was last year against Wilmington. Trossi in the lane, and she traveled in traffic. That was, again, Sanders reaching in, got her hand on the ball, and that forced the turnover. Griffins looking to trap, but Sanders could not tightrope the sideline, and she turns it over. Griffins will need to force more turnovers to get back into this. Chestnut Hill now 2 of 13 from deep. Threes have not been falling. Caldwell coming out in a man set, it looks like. To begin the third, though, Glenn on the run. Here's Trossi driving baseline, wide open Wild Goose, and she lays it home. Siskamanis fell down. So that's why Wild Goose, or that's how Wild Goose, ended up so open. Here's a Lennon. Far side, Drogsor. The Griffins just have not been able to affect Caldwell with their press, except for maybe 1 or 2 occasions. Sanders, 14 to shoot with the right hand, around the screen, wraparound pass, finds its way to Siskamanis, who misses the easy shot. Tamaz falls down in the lane, and she traveled before she could move the ball. (51-32), 7:14 to go in the third. Caldwell on top. This is a tough test for the Griffins. Foul on the inbound Illegal screen on Siskamanis. That's her third. Here's Glenn with a head of steam. Across the timeline, handoff Gibson. No, fake the handoff. Keeps going to the hoop. And gets the roll with the right hand. 8 feet away. So Glenn now has 6. Yet to make a 3, though. Dragsor cut off down low, and she'll dribble back out. Glennon resets. Makes eye contact with her coach, Tori Northup-Jones, on the sideline for the play call. Now Kelty, 14 to shoot, around the screen. Dragsor left wing. Lobs it down low. Siskamanis faces up, fires away, doesn't get the roll from 12. And here comes Tamaz the other way with the behind-the-back dribble. Vicky Tamaz spinning at midcourt. She has 6. Has an open look here. Fires too short, but a foul. So Tamaz to the line. 4-3. Vicky Tamaz, 2 of 7 from the field in the opening half. The leading scorer in the conference. Just under 17 per game. No good on the first. 2 more to come, though. Foul trouble starting to mount a bit for Caldwell. Siskamanis with 3, Kelty 2, and O'Driscoll 2. So all of their bigs playing with 2 or 3 fouls. As Siskamanis with 3 will sit. O'Driscoll back in. Tina LeBron back in as well. Lennon will sit. 1 more to come for Tamaz. Tamaya Graham getting her first action of the third now, as is Cassie Siebold. So Tamaz 2 for 3 on that trip. Griffins get it back to 15, and they'll go to her press. Tamaz trailing the play, comes away with the steal. Here's Siebold 1 on 3. She's cut off and will dribble over to the far side wing with Sanders on her. Here's Glenn, hits a cutting Sanders on the block, kicks back out. Graham 18 feet away, too strong. Tip back out to Maz, backdoor Trossi, and she lays it home. Siebold kept that ball alive down low with her hustle. And now the Griffins get it to 13, so a bit of a run here. Dragsworth the other way, picks it up on the elbow, and Sanders will reset between the circles. 18 to shoot as Sanders trots over to the left wing. Up high, Kelty. Graham tried to steal it. They'll post up Driscoll. Lost the handle. Glenn takes it away before it bounced out of bounds. Trossi the other way. Griffins looking to run. Trossi wraparound pass out of bounds and a foul. Sanders got Graham from behind. Not a shooting foul. Here comes Wild Goose and Gibson. Glenn and Tamaz sit. Griffins could get it back to 10 with a 3 here. Down by 13. Here's Wild Goose on the elbow, spinning inside on O'Driscoll. No good, a little too strong. Rebound Kelty in the lane. Sanders the other way. Hesitation up top to the hoop and gets it to go off glass. Sanders just her second make. And a timeout taken here. By Caldwell, a full timeout, 15-point game. Griffins trail, 5:13 to play in the third quarter.
Master your future at our School of Graduate Studies. The career you deserve is waiting for you at Chestnut Hill College. Chestnut Hill College upholds a long tradition of academic excellence that can help you turn your knowledge, skills, and experience into a career full of purpose. We offer a variety of master's degree programs, certifications, and certificates in the administration of human services, education, clinical and counseling psychology, and instructional technology, as well as an APA-accredited doctoral program in clinical psychology. For more information, visit www.chc.edu/graduate.
Griffins ball out of the timeout. Ricky Sobrano here with you inside Sorgenti Arena. 5:13 to go in the third quarter. Griffins trail by 15. Strassi spinning at midcourt, nearly lost it. Sanders already has 5 steals. Seabold spots up, too short. Graham, the offensive board, goes back up, no good with the left, loose on the floor, and Kelty comes away with it as it popped out of Graham's hands. Sanders crosses over, head of steam down the lane to the hoop, lays it home. Right by Seabold, and Sanders has back-to-back buckets. 17-point game. Wild Goose will slow it down. Now it's Graham on the wing, 18 to shoot. Caldwell back to his zone now. In the corner of 3, Gibson. Got it. Kaylee Gibson. Her second bucket, first 3. Let's see if that gets the Griffins going from deep. That pass stolen at midcourt by Gibson. 3-on-2, and she was fouled on her way to the hoop. Sanders threw that one away and pats her chest, kind of saying, my bad. The senior has been very good with the ball today. Now the official's trying to figure this out. Seabold is hovering near the line, so she's acting like she's going in. It's on LeBron. Gibson at the line for the shots. I think the officials might have been discussing whether it was a shooting foul or not. To be honest, I think Gibson might have been trying to pass the ball, but the Griffins will take the break as Gibson has one more to come. So LeBron sits after the foul. Lennon back in. Tamaz back in for the Griffins. Second good, too. Now a 12-point game as the Griffins have a quick 5-0 run. In a rush, Sanders the other way, well defended by Seabold, and she'll kick back out. Here's Droxler. 20 to shoot. Works left around the screen. Trying to get free from deep, it looks like. Instead, into the lane. Pick and roll. O'Driscoll doesn't get the roll. But going to the line for 2 is Carly O'Driscoll. Carly O'Driscoll, over 1,000 points in her career. One of 3 on this team that are over 1,000. Not a lot of teams can say that. This is a senior-laden bunch. Droxler, Sanders, Kelty, and O'Driscoll. They've all been around for a while, and they've seen a lot of good basketball. Wild Goose sits, Tamaya Graham back in. One more to come for O'Driscoll. Siskamanis sits, Kelty back in. O'Driscoll hits the second as well. 14-point game. This Caldwell team will look radically different next season. Seabold the other way, coast to coast, kicks into the corner. Gibson's fumbled it. And now she'll dribble back out and reset. Glenn on the run, down the lane, flips it up, and she was fouled. Going to the line for 2. That's on O'Driscoll. That's her third. But this Caldwell team will look radically different next season with Droxler, Sanders, Kelty, and O'Driscoll all graduating. Will probably be a down year next year, but for the time being, there again, focus more on making a run in the CACC tournament and maybe making another NCAA appearance, as they did last year. Glenn, one more to come, hits that 2. 12-point game. Griffins trail, they've been down by as much as 23. That was early on in this third quarter. Here's Lennon. O'Driscoll on the run, and the corner tipped and stolen by Gibson. Gibson has it back on the run into the corner. Glenn works left. Trying to turn the corner, but it's taken away by Sanders. One-on-one. Here she comes with Seabold. Has a trailer with her. Calls it herself and bowled over Cassie Seabold. So that's an offensive foul. And that time it's Seabold getting the better of Sanders. Now the officials talking it over. Let's see if Seabold was in the restricted area. And they're changing it. It's a blocking foul. So that's on Seabold. And Sanders will go to the line for 2. That's a big call as Mike West is talking it over right now. Mike Mike West getting an explanation from Terry Thompson. Would have been a big call because if that went the other way, the Griffins would have had a chance to cut it to single digits with a 3. Now it's back to a 13-point game with one more to come. Trossi back in, as is Wild Goose. Seabold and Graham sit. Sanders hits the second 2. 14-point game, and now Caldwell goes to a full court press for the first time today. Trossi breaks it, though, with Sanders on her hip. Open Gibson, down low, that pass kicked. Tried to enter it in for Wild Goose, who was running down the lane. And it stays with the Griffins. 3:15 to play. In the third quarter, Trossi to inbounds. Looking for options. Now she finally has one. And Gibson in the corner. Tamaz, now Glenn. Into the corner, Trossi lobs it down while Wild goes to the hoop and lays it home with 2 hands. 12-point game. Drogs were the other way in a rush. Griffins looking to trap. Skip pass. Sanders fell down. And it goes to the Griffins. Pass was probably going to be too far behind Sanders for her to get a hand on anyway. So the Griffins, the chance to get it back to single digits with a 3, down 12. Glenn drives baseline, skip past Trossi in the corner, quick ball movement. Gibson shot fake. 18 to shoot. Wild Goose back out of 3. Glenn in and out. Shannon Glenn yet to make a 3. Rebound O'Driscoll, the Griffins bench. All jumped up when they saw that one. Lennon a 3. Too strong. O'Driscoll the offensive board. Goes back at Wild Goose, cut off, and will kick out for Sanders, who resets at the logo. 20 to shoot for Sanders. Griffins in a man-to-man set. Now it's Kelty. They're looking for Drogsler. Now she has it. Freed up with a screen. Works right around the pick and roll. Fires and puts it in. From 18, Drogsler. First time she's had a bucket in a while, but she's up to 28. A game-high 28. Gibson picks up her dribble. Back out Glenn, turns the corner to the hoop, forces it up, and she's going back to the line. Shannon Glenn very effective today, or very aggressive today. Been to the line a couple of times. This will be her third trip, 8 points, but 0 for 5 from deep. So the three's not falling, but she's working herself to the line with some regularity. Too short on the first, doesn't get the roll. Siskamanis back in. O'Driscoll sits. Siskamanis and O'Driscoll both 3 fouls, Kelty 2. So the bigs for Caldwell still playing with some foul trouble. 1:54 to play. In the third, it's Caldwell on top by 14, make it 13. After that Glenn free throw. Griffins go to a full court press here, trying to force some turnovers. Here's Drogsler on the wing, down low Siskamanis. She's cut off by Glenn, and she'll kick back out. Caldwell doesn't take any bad shots, really. If it's not there the first 10 seconds, they'll reset and work themselves for a good look. Drogsler hops left. Pick and pop Siskamanis, drives left into the lane. A runner, no good off left. Rebound Trossi in the lane, and she was fouled by Kelty. That's number 3 on her, too. It's number 5 on Caldwell, so Griffin's now in the bonus. Trossi to the line for 2. She's been vastly improved from the free throw line of late. Too strong on that one, though. Trossi up over 60% from the line now this year. Glenn sits. Graham back in. 1:30 to play. In the third, no good on the second from Trossi as well. Stays at a 13-point game. Here's Sanders. Taking your time at the logo as she sets up the offense. Has Kelty coming out for a screen. Now gives it to Kelty instead. Top of the key. Wild Goose in her face. Back for Sanders. 12 to shoot between the circles. Now Kelty on the wing. 9 to shoot. A 3 Drogsler. Off to the left. That was a deep one. Long rebound far corner. Kelty hustles after it, and it's a fresh 30. for Caldwell. Sanders will reset, now under a minute to play. In the third quarter, 13-point game. 18 to shoot, it's Sanders. Back to the bucket, Kelty faces up. 12 to shoot, Sanders deep left wing. Around the screen, Lennon. Shot fake at the elbow. Stutter step to the hoop. Got it to go on the scoop shot. Lennon freed herself up with the hesitation dribbles. Now it's a 15-point game. Wild Goose right block, doubled, skip past Tamaza, 3. Too strong, long rebound. Graham has it. Shot clock turned off. Drogsor nearly took it away. Gibson in traffic threw it away. Lennon with the steal. Up ahead, Drogsor. Two Griffins trailing. Drogsor can't finish. Kelty the offensive board. Taken away by Wild Goose. 9 on the clock. Trossi traveled. Trossi seemed unsure of what to do there, whether she should keep going or slow it down. Now 8.3 to play in the third. Griffins down 15. Caldwell can hold for the final shot. Gehring back in. Tamaz sits. Drogsor will inbound to Sanders. 7 on the clock. Now Sanders gets going with 5. In and out move. Kicks back out. 2 to shoot. LeBron forces it. Off right at the buzzer. And that is how the third will end with the Griffins down by 15. Let's see if they have a rally in them. We'll take a break and be back with the start of the fourth in just a moment.
Looking to take time out for a snack? The Griffin's Den is an a la carte cafe located on the ground floor of Fournier Hall. Stop by to check out the many food and beverage options to enjoy while watching the game in Sorgeni Arena. You can quench your thirst with a water or Gatorade and satisfy your appetite with anything ranging from a soft pretzel to a slice of pizza to a sandwich. Brought to you by Chartwells, who reminds you to eat, learn, live.
Back here inside Sorgenti Arena, Ricky Sobrano here with you. 63-48. Caldwell on top of the Griffins. They've led throughout. Or I'll say about midway through the opening quarter, they at that point took over and have led by double digits most of the way. Hasn't been single digits since the first quarter. Griffins ball. To begin the fourth, Wild Goose picks up her dribble into the corner. Glenn with the right hand. She attacks, kicks back out. Tamaya Graham holds. 12 to shoot. Drives right of the lane. No good. Too short. Rebound fought for. And a foul on Graham as she was trying to wrestle it away from Kelty. Drogsor a game high 28. She is still the only Cougar in double figures. Tamaya's back in. Gehring sits. Jada Wild Goose 18 and 4. On 7 of 9 shooting. She is the only Griffin in double figures. The next closest is Shannon Glenn with 9. Sanders killing some clock. Out by the logo. She'll be in no rush, especially with the 15-point lead. Drogsor free up top into the corner. It's LeBron. 9 to shoot. Kelty crossing over into the corner. Sanders fires away. Too strong. Long rebound. Karam's into the corner before Kelty can sprint after it. And it goes to the Griffins. The Griffins fall today. That will make it very, very difficult to catch Jefferson in second place. This is their game in hand, basically. 1.5 back of Jefferson with 5 to play. Or 4 after today. Down low, Wild Goose, doubled on the block, 10 to shoot, up and under move, got it to go. Wild Goose now with 20. 13-point game. Griffins have had a tough time getting it any closer than this. They've gotten to 13 and 12 a couple of times in the second half, but have not been able to get it to single digits. Haven't been able to get the stops to do it. Here's Sanders, 12 to shoot. Kelty top of the key. Deep left wing LeBron, 6 to shoot. Drogs up top, being hounded by Graham, and she was fouled by Tomas, who reached in with 4 to shoot. Drogsor was off balance. That's an ill-advised foul because now Caldwell has a fresh 30. Graham and Trossi will sit. Kaylee Gibson and Cassie Sebald back in. Drogsor on the wing. Was open momentarily, but Gibson closed out. Now a 3 off the dribble, off left. From Drogsor, who's been a bit quieter in the second. Gibson, short left corner, back out for Glenn. Sanders on her. Now Kelty on Sebald, 20 to shoot. Down low, Wild Goose, driving at Siskamanis. Back out, Gibson, entry pass Glenn, tipped and stolen by Siskamanis. Glenn trotting it up court the other way. With Tomas back out on her, Lennon will be in no rush. Sanders on the wing, works left around the screen, into the lane, back out and open Lennon. Got it. Andy Lennon snaps the net from the corner on the wide open look set up by the senior Sherelle Sanders. 16-point game. Griffins down big. Glenn lost it in the lane. Ball caroms out of bounds. And it is off of Drogsler and Caldwell last. Sanders sits. Lennon, or rather LeBron, back in. Tomas in for Wild Goose. 20 to shoot for the Griffins. Tomas down low. Glenn up and under move. Got it to go with the left. Shannon Glenn doesn't post up very often, but she's now in double figures. Give her 11. Lennon with Sebald all over her. 14-point game, under 7 to play in the fourth. 15 to shoot. Drogsler works right around the screen, fires away. Got it. Off the dribble. Drogsler is very comfortable shooting from there. And she puts it home from 18 and straight on. She now has 30. Her first 30-point game of the year. Down while Wild Goose doubled. Back out Gibson on the run with the left hand. Rejected by Siskamanis. And here comes Lennon the other way. Lennon in a rush. Waits for LeBron, a 3. Book it. Tina LeBron set up by Andy Lennon. And it's back to 19. Griffins down big. Tomas looking to answer. And does so. Timeout taken by Mike West. Second 3 by Vicky Tomas. And the Griffins down 16. 6:18 to play in the fourth quarter.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember to visit the official restaurant of Griffin Nation. It's just a short trip down Germantown Pike to Birmingham's Pub in Lafayette Hill. Join us today after the game.
Griffins down 71 to 55. 6:18 on the clock in the fourth quarter. Second to last home game of the year for the Griffins. The last one will be against U Sciences in 2 weeks. That's on the 24th. Senior day 2 for the Chestnut Hill women's team. Not the way they wanted to go out. Down 16, make it 18. As O'Driscoll lays that home on the feed from Sanders. Sebald the other way. Cut off by LeBron. Tries to turn the corner. Back out Glenn, an open look. Got it. That one rattles home from Shannon Glenn. That's her first 3. She has 14. Shannon Glenn, 1 of 6 from deep. Lennon the other way. Sebald on her. The Griffins looking to trap. Lennon dribbles out of it. O'Driscoll drives baseline. That pass hit the bottom of the bucket. It's taken away by Sebald, and now a jump ball as Kelty got her hands in there. And it stays with Caldwell on the alternating possession. O'Driscoll sits. Siskamanis back in. 15-point game, 5:41 to play. Officials talking this over. It's one of the officials, Joshua Hurst, is gigantic. He's going to be about 6'7". If he was out there with, or for the men's game later, he'd still be taller than most of those guys, too. Let's see what the call is. I think they're checking the score. So the officials weren't sure about that. That's what it was. 15-point game, 73-58, 5:41 to go. Dragsor back in as Sanders sits. Inbound is the Dragsor with 16 to shoot. Hands off for Lennon, who will reset at the logo. 12 on the clock. Trossi out on her. So LeBron works left around the screen. Pick and pop. Siskamanis way too strong off backboard. And here comes Trossi. Trossi with a head of steam into the lane. Doesn't get the roll with the right. Rebound Siskamanis. So LeBron taking your time. Mike West yelling at his team, get up, get up, get up. Down 15-5 to play. Even off of a miss. Wants his Griffins to press to try to force turnovers. Kelty shot fake, top of the key, down the left of the lane. Got it to go on the runner. Or Kelty, nice touchdown low. 17-point game. Glennon nearly traveled as she crossed the timeline into the corner. Handoff Trossi. Back out and open to Maz. Too short. Rebound Kelty in the lane. Three's just not falling today, even when they're open, for the Griffins, who are now 5 of 21 from deep. Slightly under 40%. From the field are the Griffins, which is about their season average. It's just the threes have not been falling, as that's a 10-second violation on Lennon. Second 10-second violation on Caldwell. They've now turned it over 14 times. 17-point game, 4:33 to go. In the fourth, Wild Goose calling for it down low. They don't go to her. Instead, back around the perimeter, Trossi. She holds. Glenn. Shot fake up top. Hand off to Maz. Bullet pass down low. Wild Goose backs in. No good on the first attempt. Gets her own miss. Back out Seabold. Open look. Off left. Rebound Kelty in the lane. Sanders will slow it down as we come up on 4 to play. In the fourth, 75-58. Griffins down 17. Dragsor around the screen. See if they try to get her a few touches. She has 30. LeBron a three. In and out. From the right wing, long rebound corralled by Trossi in the corner. Splits the double with a crossover. And then is fouled by Sanders, who reached in. Thought Caldwell might look to force feed Dragsor a bit in the second half. And a timeout taken here by Tori Northup-Jones. Just a 30-second timeout, but Dragsor coming down the stretch of her outstanding career, the reigning CACC Player of the Year, actually having a down year of sorts compared to last season. But she had 23 at the break. Her career high is 38, so only 7 in the second half thus far. Still almost 4 minutes to play. I was wondering if they might try to force feed her the ball a bit and give her a shot to get to 40 for the first time in her career, but that hasn't been the case thus far. Cooled off a bit as well. Now 9 of 16 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep. Made those 8 free throws early on. She had a 16-point opening quarter. So in the second, she's actually just 3 of 7 from the field as Dragsor. Maz the other way out of the timeout. Wild Goose on the wing, holds the ball over her head, looking for options. As Trossi cutting down low, didn't see her. Instead, hands off for Glenn. Glenn cut off down low. Seabold jacks a 3. Off left, well contested by Sanders. Wild Goose gets the miss, and then she was fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. Second on Dragsor. Wild Goose, 20 points. That's a team high 20. 8 of 11 from the field. Glenn with 14 and Tamaz with 11. That's it for the Griffins in double figures. Too strong on the first is Wild Goose. Caroline Gehring back in. Trossi sits. Tina LeBron, 12. And Andy Lennon, 10. Those are the only other two in double figures for Caldwell, other than Draxler, of course, who has 30. Another delay here. I think they need to adjust the clock a bit. One more to come for Wild Goose, and she hits that. 16-point game. Griffins trail, 3:24 to play. In the fourth quarter, Griffins taking on second place Caldwell in the CACC North. Sanders trapped, but spins out of it and finds Draxler, who will hold between the circles. Right back for Sanders with Seabold out on her, 15 to shoot. She works left with the left-hand dribble. Between the circles, Kelty, 10 to shoot. It's LeBron holding. 8 to shoot. Jacks the three, in and out. Wild Goose and Tamaz nearly run into each other on the rebound, but Wild Goose is able to snag it, and here's Seabold down the left lane, out of bounds, and it stays with the Griffin. The shot was rejected by Draxler, and then it hit Draxler last. LeBron sits. Lennon back in. Now under 3 to play. In the fourth, Seabold, 2 inbounds, skips it in for Tamaz, a 3. She was fouled, and she'll go to the line for 3. Draxler with the big contest. Ended up knocking down Tamaz, so Vicky Tamaz back to the line for 3. Second time she's been fouled on a 3 today. 2 of 3 from the line on that first trip. Hits the first. Give her 12 points on the day. Vicky Tamaz now over 1,000 points in her career combined with Shippensburg and Chestnut Hill, 2 years at each. One more to come for Tamaz. 3 of 10 from the field today is Tamaz. Third is good as well. So 3 of 3 on that trip, and the Griffins back within 13, 2:48 to play in the fourth, but they haven't been able to get it any closer than this since the first quarter. That pass up ahead and a little bit too tall for the 5'5 Sanders. And the Griffins forced the turnover they needed. Now could get it to a 10-point game with a 3. Here's Seabold with Sanders on her. Seabold with a head of steam. Sanders stripped her from behind, but thankfully carried White to Wild Goose. Seabold lines it up into the corner. Extra look, Gehring. Air ball too strong, right to Wild Goose, and she was fouled. And we'll go to the line. 4-2. Gehring shaking her head. She was wide open in the corner, but that ball ended up serving essentially as a pass right into the hands of Wild Goose. And she's at the line for 2, too strong on the first. Griffins now 17 of 23 from the line. They've out-attempted and out-made Caldwell. Caldwell 13 of 16. Second good. 12-point game. Griffins need to stop here if they're to have any real chance of coming back in this one, and they will press. It's Sanders. Griffins looking to trap at midcourt. Sanders weaves her way through it. And Sanders at the logo will slow things down. The Griffins looking to double and press. Kelty. Now Draxler will slow it down again. 11 to shoot. Draxler in no rush. Has the screen set up to her left. He uses it in the form of Kelty. The Griffins hedge aggressively. 5 to shoot. Turns the corner inside. Kelty lays it home. And one more to come. So Draxler knew the double was coming. Calmly dribbled out of it. And then found Kelty open down low, who's going to the line for one more. So now the Griffins down 14. Wild Goose will sit, and we will see Ayanna Holloway, another one of the seniors, the only one that we haven't seen so far today. So Mike West by inserting Holloway. Not completely waving the white flag, but only the third game that Holloway has played in so far this year. Griffins down 15, under 2 to play. Here's Holloway. Drives baseline, forces it up, too strong air ball, rebound Kelty. It's Sanders killing some clock. Griffins down. 5:15. A 3 Draxler. Too short, doesn't get the roll. And a foul underneath on the rebound that goes against Caldwell, so the ball goes to the Griffins. Chestnut Hill after this, just 4 games remaining, only 1 of them at home. They'll close out the season, the regular season at least. The women's team will have a playoff game. It's on the 24th against U Sciences. Next 3 will be on the road. That's at Wilmington, at Felician, and then at Holy Family. Tamaz spinning down low, partially blocked by Draxler. 1:18 to play. Griffins down 15. Draxler drives inside and lays that one home nice and easy. Defensive breakdown there, and Draxler has the 32. 6 off her career high. Probably doesn't have enough time to get to that. The cutting Seabold down low, and she lays it home. As the 2 teams trade baskets late. And a timeout taken here. Looks like there was at least. In either event, both teams are making substitutions, and Caldwell will go to their bench. Maureen Coakley, 5'11" freshman forward out of Howell, New Jersey in the game, as is Ikara Hicks, 5'6" junior guard, transfer from Middlesex Community College. And Kalima Singletary, 11 in red, back in the game as well. Her second stint of action, played very briefly in the first half. Illegal screen, that's on Singletary, going the other way. Griffins will go to their bench as well. Get some of their starters back in, actually. Wild Goose, Trossie, Gibson, and Glenn all in. So actually, they'll take out all of the seniors. That's what it is, so they can get a nice round of applause. Graham, Holloway, Gehring, and Tamaz all sit. Their second to last appearance on their home court. Unless, of course, the Griffins do end up getting a second overall seed and hosting a playoff game, which is still not impossible, but they'll need some help, especially after this loss. Seabold spinning in the lane. That pass tipped and nearly stolen. Trossie saved it on the baseline. Glennon, open look 3. Got it. Second 3 of the game for Shannon Glenn. She now has 17. It's a 12-point game. Shot clock turned off. And now Mike West says, we're good. Meaning don't pressure anymore and just let the shot clock and the game clock wind down. Wild Goose joking around like she was going to come double Lennon, who's just dribbling out the clock, and that will do it. The Griffins fall 80-68 in this one against a very tough Caldwell team. Chestnut Hill falling to 15-9 overall, 11-4 in conference. They dropped to 2 games back of second place Jefferson. They're clinched, though. They will be making a playoff appearance again. And if they get some help with 4 games remaining, they could potentially catch Jefferson and host a playoff game. But after this loss in particular, they will need some help from Jefferson. They'll need them to lose a couple of games and, of course, to win out. Caldwell in the process, they get their 20th win, 20-4, 13-2 overall. They move into a tie with Bloomfield for first place in the CACC North, pending today's results. So we'll take a break and be back with the start of the men's game, scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip. We're right on schedule for that. So hope to see you again.